Good evening, witches.
Hi.
Welcome to week 10 of the Beginner Witch series. Tonight, we're going to talk about moon magic.
We just had a nice full moon.
We sure did. We'll be with you in just a moment.
Thank you.
It is 7 o'clock, and tonight we're going to be talking about moon magic.
Yeah. And can we all just acknowledge the beautiful full moon lunar eclipse that we had? Did anybody get to see it? Because I didn't. I think I realized that it wasn't, I don't think we got to see it.
We didn't see it, but I have a friend down the street and she actually put pictures on her Facebook page of it.
Oh, so she did get
yeah. So I was like, well, by the time we looked at it, it was supposed to be in the morning, but I don't know.
We definitely thought it was gonna be at night, and it was like 11 a.m. in the morning or something like that.
Well, and it was the Scorpio full moon, which is Scorpio is my sign. So, and Jolene's sign, Taurus. So
yeah,
opposites on the zodiac wheel.
We were like the sisters or something, sister signs, which makes sense because sometimes we fight like sisters.
We definitely do. Although I think now that we're getting a little bit older, seems to be getting better. Or maybe we're
learning to shut our mouths. When we want to say things, we're like, we should probably just not say it.
Yeah. Especially me, because being a mom, it's really hard to stop ever being a mother.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were having this discussion today about one of her kids.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm always gonna say what I need to say. I'm the mom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think I know that. Doesn't really.
But God forbid her trying to tell me something at 36,
or 18.
Yeah.
Which we have, this year I'll have 2 grandchildren that turn 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
One in just a few days.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of crazy. So anyway, for anybody that's new, I'm Kat.
Jolene.
This is Jolene.
Normally we have Jamie, but she's in Italy.
She's in Italy, and she FaceTimed us from the Parthenon.
Yeah.
And she might have been having a lot of fun. So she was having a lot of fun. They were very excited. I think they're ready to come home. So, all right. Well, we have 19 people on the call. We're not going to wait super long time. We're going to get started because we have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do want to let you know, we're going to talk about a lot of phases and energies around the moon. So instead of trying to jot everything down, we'll try to go slowly. Listen for things that are key to your life going on right now, like areas of your life that you're like, oh, that I need to pay attention to that, and only write down that. Don't try to write down everything. I promise you that within the next 48 hours, I'm going to create a post with all of this information on the New Witch Academy of modernmagic.com website. So you're going to be able to go there and get everything from this lesson. I'm not going to get it out in email because I have to do a lot of work for that. But I am going to get a post made. So you'll be able to get everything from the blog post at New Witch Academy of modernmagic.com. And one of my good witches can put that URL into the chat and help us out, especially anybody that's new. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So remember, listen for things that are key in your life and don't try to jot everything down, because
unless you're impatient like me, just jot it down.
Unless you're like a stenographer and you know shorthand and stuff. I wished I had learned that. So okay, so let's start with saying, why is moon magic even a thing for us? The moon is our closest celestial body. Its powers are ancient. Since before humans, the moon was shifting the waters to help create life. If our earth was a cauldron, the moon was the stirrer. Its force pushed and pulled, shifted and stirred the elements until life on a microscopic level occurred.
How cool is that?
With the moon being directly related to water energetically, as humans, we can all say that we come from the moon water of our mother's belly. Additionally, the moon goes through an entire cycle in the same amount of time that a woman completes her menstrual cycle. The words of the month,
Coincidence? I think not.
I'm going to let you elaborate on that if you'd like. You don't think it does? It's like 28 and a half days.
Yeah, personally, I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't.
Oh,
think
it's not a coincidence.
It's not a
Okay.
coincidence. No.
Okay. Yeah. So women especially, I think, are very energetically connected to the moon, and any gentleman with a lot of water elements probably in them. But all of us our bodies are made of what, like, I don't know, 98% water or something like that. Somebody who's a science nerd can tell us how much water's in our body. So
I think it's like 70%.
okay.
75.
The words of the month, moon, and menstrual all have the same root word, being that they last 27 to 29 days. Here's a nerdy fact. Our calendars, our solar calendars, created in 45 BCE. Many people have tried to introduce lunar calendars with 13 months for the 13 moons, because we do end up having 13 moons.
Yeah.
Okay. Why should you care about the moon? Our moon affects all water on Earth. Every living thing on our planet needs water to survive. It's easy to see then that the moon has an effect on all living things on our planet. Gaining an understanding of the moon and her phases helps connect us with our past. How this helps you: discover more about yourself and the people in your lives with moon astrology. When you were born, the moon was positioned in one of the zodiac signs. Who knows their moon? Put it in the chat if you know your moon.
What moon were you born under?
Yes, what was your moon? Because that's not the same as your sun sign. So if you know, put it in the chat and share that with us.
If you don't know, it's an easy Google search. Literally just Google moon phase of this day and year, and it'll pop right up on Google.
My moon was in Libra when I was born. I'm a Scorpio. My moon was in Libra.
But what kind of moon was it? What was the phase?
I don't remember the phase. It was like, yeah, no, I haven't really paid
Bad
attention
witch
to the
shit.
phases.
Bad witch shit. Somebody Google it for her.
I think it was waning. I think it was a waning moon.
I think yours is opposite of mine.
Waning crescent or something.
Else again.
I know, we're like totally opposite. This is so funny. And yet we're so much alike.
So much alike.
Let's see.
Mine is waxing.
Okay.
But we're gonna go over the difference in all of those and how you can kind of.
Okay. Let's see, where was I? The gaining an understanding of the lunar phases connects us with our past. Okay.
Yeah.
This correspondence, which is when you were born, where the moon was when you were born, is directly related to how you show your emotions. So you may or may not know this, but keep this in mind. The ruler of Cancer is the moon. And Cancer, if anybody has ever known a Cancer, they are all about emotions. They're a water sign, and they are all about, they're like the emotional one, the most emotional one of the zodiac. Okay.
I'm laughing at some of the comments. I feel seen. Yes, girl. I am Taurus, Cancer, Taurus.
Taurus,
moon,
Cancer, Taurus.
yes.
Oh, Cancer moon. What did I just say? No
literally the biggest sensitive crybaby in my family. People know that they cannot say playfully mean things to me, or I'm like, you know,
she does get her one little feeling hurt really bad.
we weren't going to say one feeling anymore. It hurts my feelings.
Okay, so here's an example for you. Aries moon is expressed as very straightforward. Gemini moon is expressed as needing to talk things out. Virgo moon is really good at staying calm during chaos. And Scorpio moons are emotionally intense, being red hot or ice cold, not much room for lukewarm feelings.
Oh, what's your moon again?
My moon is Libra. So I'm a Scorpio, but my moon is Libra. So here on Earth, our view of the moon is always the same. Hence the term, the dark side of the moon. Hello, Pink Floyd, which Earthlings never see. Earthlings never see the dark side of the moon. There really is no dark side of the moon unless you live on Earth. All right, so now we're gonna go into the 8 phases of the moon. So this is, okay, so first of all, this is something that you would be able to find on any website if you just search phases of the moon. You can also, one of the books I was gonna recommend for tonight was Llewellyn's Witch's Date Book, but then I looked it up on Amazon, and that sucker has gone up to $22. And it's May, and they're charging $22.
Yeah, mind you, we used to get
was
this
really
for
shocked.
$12, and then if it was mid-year, we would get it for like $6. So they have just jacked those
Yeah.
prices up. So we don't really necessarily want to recommend that to you guys because it's just
Yeah, you might, it's good to have, I think it's a good reference, but the thing is, it's dated, so it's like for 1 year. And you can find the same information, and we're gonna get into the kind of spells or rituals or magic workings that you want to do in a particular moon phase, or when the moon is in a particular zodiac sign rather, and then we'll relate that back to the moon phases. You don't need to have a book for that. You can find that stuff online. That's the great thing about the time that we live in.
The
Is
modern world.
everything is online. So
yeah. Google is
Okay.
amazing. If we didn't have Google,
we still have phone books. We still have the yellow pages.
we'd really be working hard to figure things out, guys. We'd have to like read, and stuff. God forbid.
Wicca.
What are you showing us here,
What are you
Gary?
showing us,
Wicca?
Gary, with that Wicca?
Book of spells, Wicca book of spells. Okay. Does it have a lot of moon magic in it?
Some.
Okay.
All right. So in case you didn't know, there's 8 phases of the moon, and remember the moon goes through her cycle in about 28 and a half days. So in that time, there's 8 phases. So here are power spells with phases of the moon. Do you want any part of this, sis?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me.
I'll let you take this from here. So we're here.
Okay, so we have new moon / dark moon. So that's when you don't see the moon in the sky. And that is when we really want to work on like new beginnings, new endeavors, jobs, relationships, anything that you're really trying to bring in. That's the best time to work on it. That's the most powerful time to work on it. And if you want to also look at the zodiac sign that the new moon is in, that will also help you through that time and what you're really trying to focus on. And we'll get on to the
We're going to go
zodiac
through the
stuff
zodiac
here in
signs,
a little
and we're going to actually give you an exercise at the end of this for something to do for the Taurus new moon on May 19th. So you have enough time to do a little bit of research. And if that period, if what's going on, because the new moon in Taurus on May 19th is in Taurus, obviously, but then it goes into Gemini at about 6 p.m.
Mhm.
So we'll look at the energetic properties around the sign of Gemini and see if that's something that you might have an interest in working. If there's something in your life that you'd like to change that's related to those energetic properties of the sign of Gemini. And it has to do with new beginnings. So it's kind of like a fun puzzle that you put together.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to really like this, where I can make little charts and all these little tables, and I can like mix and match and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah, and be like, September, my moon's going to be in this phase and in this zodiac,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm
So
going to work on.
what are you trying to bring into your life? Are you looking for a new house, a new job, a new love? Are you trying to gain something else, like maybe your psychic abilities? You want to increase your psychic abilities, or you want to be able to interpret your dreams or things like that. You can look ahead and plan for these things and plan to do some kind of magical workings. And when I say magical workings, I mean anything from doing a spell to some kind of a ritual, to setting up an altar and feeding that altar, to mantras, to meditations. I mean, magical workings can be a lot of different things. It does not have to be a spell.
Yeah.
Personally, as a newer witch, I'm like almost 5 years into being a witch officially. I don't do a lot of spells, and I don't know how many spells each of you have done as newer witches. Maybe you can share with us, like, how many spells have you ever done?
Yeah.
I don't know, especially if you're new. I think when you're new starting out, spell work feels a little intimidating, but really what it is about setting intentions and being intentional about asking for something, and then sort of giving that attention and focusing on that in your minds,
Yeah.
the things that you do.
For
So
sure.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
So
No,
we're
you're
going
good.
back to power spells with phases of the moon. That's
So
where
first
we're-
is new moon. Second is the waxing crescent, which is what I am. And that's when the moon starts to grow. So it kind of looks like it looks like the end of a parenthesis, like a closing of a parenthesis. So it's
or the
very,
side of a D.
yeah,
A D. So the way to remember, the D's like this.
like this. That might be backwards for you guys. But you get it. So that's the waxing, that's growing. And then you have during that time, you can feed your spells, expose yourself to things that feed your spell, charms, mantras, meditation, lighting a candle, journaling about your spell, questions to ask yourself, how are you going to feed your change? So that's a little question you can do for yourself there. And then we have the first quarter moon, which is a half, looks like a full D, waxing gibbous.
Can I stop you there? Is that
Yes.
okay?
I guess.
I was
Ooh.
trying to find the raise hand thingy and I was like, anyway.
what?
Oh, the raised hand. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, Johnny.
I
Well,
raised my hand.
Okay, what's up?
All right, the waxing moon, is that the parentheses? Looks like a D you were talking about?
Yes, so it's a small sliver. If you're looking at the moon, it's almost completely black, but on the right-hand side, you'll see a small sliver of a moon.
and it's like a
And that's-
closed parens or the right side of a D. Got that?
Okay. And the first one was like for new beginnings, you can't hardly see it. What was that moon called?
That's new moon. So that's when you can't actually see the moon in the sky at all. Sometimes you can, depending on how lit up it is. Every once in a while, you can still kind of see it up there, but it's completely black.
Oh, I might
That's
want to
the
let
new
you know that you're going to be in our YouTube video, Johnny. So hopefully that's not a problem because we can't really cut you
Oh,
out.
it's all good. I mean,
Um,
I'm new at this. I don't mind if
Yeah, we're
So
gonna.
if we could if you could hold, sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but if we could hold your question, we're probably going kind of fast, but otherwise you're gonna have the camera coming on and we're gonna you'll be on our YouTube video, which we don't care, but you might.
Yeah, just a fair warning, but everything that we talk about here, we're going to list on the website and we'll be sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll put the website in the chat so that you guys can go to the website and refer back to everything that we've.
Yeah, I thought I would if I didn't get the notes, I'd never have them again or something. So,
Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
We're gonna remind you at the end how to get them in case you're not
Yeah,
familiar with our different avenues of communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
but thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
So waxing gibbous, gibbous actually means swelling. So that's the fourth phase, the waxing gibbous, and it's when it's a little bit more than full, right? So you can tell the moon is getting full, it's almost there. That is your waxing gibbous. And then of course you have your full moon. Everybody knows what that is, right? Big, bright yellow tortilla in the
The
sky.
moon that I love.
The tortilla in the
The
sky.
one that dreams you and the one that I love.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. People react differently to
They
full
do.
moons.
The sixth phase is the waning gibbous. So think of that as like waxing, just opposite sides. So it's the left side, little sliver, little fingernail. Somebody said fingernail moon. And during the waning gibbous, you can do a question for yourself. Or a question is, do you still feed your change during the waning moon? And because sometimes you'll do like a full moon spell, and what we will do is we will kind of feed that spell until the next full moon, right? Because you can do it that night and then just forget about it if you want, but you can also kind of feed it throughout the whole next month until you get to the next full moon phase. So during these other phases of the moon, you can kind of go back to it and continue to work on it through that phase. So it's a time to recognize and start releasing the things that are holding you back.
Because it's getting smaller, so it's reducing. So if you're trying to take something out of your life, that would be a good time to do that as the moon is getting smaller and receding to the point of being looking invisible to us because we can't really see it except a little silhouette in the sky. Sometimes you can see it. So when you think about, are you trying to bring something into your life? You want that full moon or moving into that full moon phase? if you're trying to get rid of something in your life, like a bad habit, a bad boyfriend, then, the spells, the moon, as the moon is getting smaller, you're reducing. So gaining, reducing, Those are the phases. That's how the moon cycles through, gaining, reducing.
It's a good way of, easy way to remember. Listen, sometimes I gotta go, wait, what are we doing here? Number 7, the 7th phase is the 3rd quarter. So just a little bit more of that moon gone and moving back towards the waning crescent, which is the C shape. And then of course you get back to your new or your dark moon.
Okay. Alrighty.
Oh, also, yes, Johnny, our Q&A is on Thursdays. That's where we kind of have an open board to discuss and ask questions and yeah.
Yeah, that's our live
Yeah.
Q&A. So what we will do.
Come back for that for sure, because we'd love to chat.
Well, what we'll do on
Thank you for that time.
at the end of this, we'll have a cutoff point when we close the session. We'll open up the floor. I'm sorry I didn't cover this in the beginning because I didn't realize we probably have some new
people. Yeah.
But we'll have Q&A, and those interactions with the audience will not be recorded, will not be on YouTube. And what we'll do on Thursday nights, we'll have a live and we'll talk about any questions and answer any questions so that will be on the YouTube. So it's just a way to protect you personally. Your we don't know what your situation is, and we don't want to put you on blast on YouTube. So
yeah,
you might not want to be a superstar. Okay. Let's switch. Let's go to manifestations using the phases of the moon. So, you want me to do this part?
Sure.
Okay. So new or dark moon, this is for new beginnings, making positive changes, looking for fresh career opportunities, planting seeds of ideas that will be harvested later. These are all excellent activities to do during the new or dark moon. Again, I'm going to repeat those a little bit slower in case anything jumps out at you. You can write that piece down, not everything, but new or dark moon, new beginnings, making positive changes, looking for a fresh career opportunity, or planting seeds of ideas that will be harvested later. So it's very much the beginning of things.
Yeah.
Very much the beginning of things.
And when I do spells during this time, I typically bury them. And during the full moon, I'll burn them because I'm banishing, I'm releasing, I'm getting rid of. So you can kind of work with your spell in that sense too. Being mindful of when you do your spell, how you kind of either plant the seed or burn it, banish it, be gone.
Yeah,
So-
I never thought about if you put your spell, if you bury your spell in the ground, it's like, that's kind of like, that's
You're
not like
planting a
death. It's not like death. So because I'm in the funeral industry, so when I think of burying, I think of death. But in spell work, if you're burying, you're putting something in the ground, and the ground is gonna.
You're planting a seed, essentially, which I just did one a couple months ago. It was a prosperity spell, and it was with a thing of garlic. And I told my sister, I'm like, listen, I got to bury this thing somewhere. I don't want to bury it on the beach. Who knows if something will dig it up? So I'm gonna have to bury it in your yard. And she's like, that's fine. Now we have this huge garlic plant. And I'm like, just whatever you do, tell your husband not to chop the damn plant down. It's my spell. So yeah, funny. If you do plant it with anything, I've had pumpkin seeds turn into huge plants. It's hilarious, but yeah. So think of that also on spell work and
I was speaking of that. So this is so funny. So I bought a little some kind of fruit tree from Home Depot. It was like $5.99, right? For what was it?
a lime.
That one out there that you said, oh, that fruit's so good. This thing got massive like overnight.
It's a freaking papaya.
A papaya tree. So if you ever
papayas.
people like around this time of year, depending on where you are, and you see they got like these little bitty trees in a pink pot, and they're like $6, and you're like, oh, that little tree looks so cute. Listen, that tree's gonna take over your yard. Don't do it.
Do it. And then ship your papayas to me.
All right, next phase is waxing moon.
Waxing moon, the one I was born under. And in this phase, the moon appears to be grown in size from a new moon to a full. So it's that little sliver on the right hand side.
Getting bigger.
Gaining its strength. It's a good time to focus on growth in your own life, growing your knowledge, your bank account, most importantly, friendships, relationships with family. Pregnancy is related to the waxing moon. I'm reading this. I didn't know that.
Well, the belly's getting bigger and so is the moon.
So if you're trying to get pregnant, trap him during the waxing moon.
Trap him? Did you
I'm
just-
kidding. It's a joke, guys. Come on. The word waxing is a farming term that means to grow. So that's pretty cool. Didn't know that. It's also
So
time-
you know, when they say wax on, wax off, there's that commercial. You guys probably know this. It's some kind of car waxing, wax on, wax off. I don't know it. It's old. Somebody in here knows it. I know. But anyway, waxing, when you're putting the wax on, you're adding.
Yeah, add the wax. Add it. It's also a good time to increase communication with both business and pleasure. So really try to practice during that time. It also deals with legal matters and financial gains.
Mhm.
So, oh, and then also it's a heightened time to deal with some healing stuff.
Healing.
So, I did not know that either. I'm learning stuff with you guys tonight.
Okay. So full moon, oh, can I take this one? for
Yes,
you?
take it.
Okay, because I see you're going to pay attention.
Sorry,
to it.
yeah.
Okay, so full moon, the full moon and the new moon are when they are the most powerful phase. One only needs to observe the ties to understand the full impact of the powers of these phases bring. Does it necessarily mean it's the most powerful to you personally? No. For some, the full moon is a time of absorbing and reflecting. I always feel my energy is very high at full moon. For my daughter, her energy is very subdued.
I'm drained.
She's drained. So
feel drained
different,
during
the
full
full moon will not affect everybody the same way. It depends on you, maybe your sign, maybe your moon sign. I'm not really
It really
sure.
honestly lines up with my cycle. So if my cycle ends up lining up with the full moon, I'm very exhausted. I feel drained. I don't have a lot of like
Mental energy.
just motivation or
Mm.
creativity. It's just kind of like a writer's block, if you will. It's kind of how I feel during that time if my cycle is aligned with the full moon. If it's not, if it's opposite and it's aligned with the new moon, because it does change, then I'll be more energetic. So
The full moon is a time of fulfillment, activity, increased psychic ability, and maybe that's why I really connect with it, because Scorpio is like that dark side, that psychic side of things. Increased psychic ability, perfecting ideas, getting your shit together, or renewing commitments. And we have the waning moon, which is as the moon is starting to get smaller. This is a time for releasing, just as the moon appears to be decreasing in size. This is a time to decrease or release things in your life that no longer serve you. Breaking bad habits or ending bad relationships are all good tasks to focus on during this phase of the moon.
let that shit go.
Let that shit go. Okay.
Let it go.
So now, so this was something that I just added. So I want to share with you, first of all, I'm going to share my resource and give credit to the author. This is Silver Raven Wolf's book, Solitary Witch, and it has more subtitle. Book of Shadows, the New Generation for the Solitary Witch.
Hold it
So,
up there for just a second.
okay. So this is kind of a thick book, but I went in, I just wanted to add something new because you guys may or may not know, if anybody has been here for a while, you already know that we're on the third series of the New Witch series. We've done this. So this is the third time we've done it. So I went and pulled our lesson, and I always like to try to add something new. So what I got from this book, and this is a part that's really exciting to me. So right now, what we're going to talk about is remember that the moon changes zodiac signs every 2.5 days. I don't know where it is right now. You could look it up on the internet and find out where the moon is now and when the next change is going to be. But what we're going to talk about is as the moon changes signs, goes throughout the month and changes signs, this is going to be ideal time for you to focus on certain things that are going on in your life. So first of all, you should know that the moon is the fastest moving planet. And actually, I don't know that it's a planet. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but it changes signs
Wait,
the moon's not a planet. It's actually called a luminary. That's what the moon and the sun are. They're luminaries. They're not planets, although they were referred to as planets. But I have some nerdy tips at the end for that. So just put a pin in that for a second while I keep going through this. So the moon changes signs, zodiac signs every
It's entering Capricorn in 3 minutes.
Ooh,
Thank you,
Capricorn.
Tracy.
So Capricorn is like
Business.
rules. Capricorn's all about rules and tightening your belt. I think it's ruled by Saturn, which is all about rules and structure. But okay, so each month has a new moon. So every month has a new moon and a full moon. In May, the Taurus new moon will be on May 19th. This is going to be important for your exercise later on. So make a note, May 19th, and the full moon, which was last Friday, was in Scorpio. So in case you ever wonder, if you ever look at the wheel, a house, the 12 houses, the zodiac signs that are opposite each other, Scorpio and Taurus are opposite each other on the chart, on the houses. And I think I'm saying that right.
Excuse me, guys.
So, so we just had the Scorpio full moon, and then we'll have the Taurus new moon. And next month we would have, so next month, so I'm going to give you guys a test here. Okay. So next month, the new moon would be in, put your answers in chat and I'll confirm this. So help me out here because I need to think. So next month, the new moon is going to be in which sign? Which would mean the full moon would be in which sign? What do you guys think? Remembering it's opposite. So
Are you looking at me for the answer?
I'm looking at you to help me out here. I'm waiting for people to answer what they think that is. This is Taurus. Next month, what's the astrological
So if our
sign?
full moon was in Scorpio this month, it means next month our full moon would be in the zodiac sign that follows Scorpio,
Correct.
which
Correct.
is
Sagittarius.
right.
But the new
But then the
moon
new moon,
will
depending
be
on time, probably.
you'll still have a new moon next month.
Right, but depending on the time, it might fall in Sagittarius or it might fall in, or
No,
not
it's gonna be in
Sagittarius.
Gemini. You're gonna have a Gemini new moon next
Yeah.
month at some date, next month. So next month it'll be new moon Gemini. I didn't see Gemini. Thank you, Kimberly. You got that. That's right. Next month will be Gemini new moon, Sagittarius full moon. So you can just kind of work that out depending on, where you're. What's my dog doing? He's
Digging
finding
for
something.
truth in this
Okay.
puzzle.
You know what? I'll tell you something that is something that I just really learned recently about the opposites and how they like follow each other throughout the.
Yeah, the three of us, my mom and my sister and I, we have all been really wanting to dig deeper into like zodiac stuff. And we've always known a lot about zodiacs, but as far as like placements and like houses and your ascending and
It's a
all of this,
lot to learn.
it's a lot, but we've dedicated ourselves to learning more. So as we learn, so do you.
So since the moon changes signs every 2.5 days, or about 28.5 days a month, that means that approximately every 2.5 years, there will be a month that has 2 full moons. And those are called blue moons. All right, as you remember, I said magical workings could be spells, rituals, meditations, crafting, cooking, baking, planting, any of these things that you're doing with intention. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this chart and tell you just some basic energy for each of the sign and what you need to watch out for. Because remember, the moon is moving through the zodiac sign every 2.5 days. So if you're wanting to focus on a particular area of your life and bringing something into it or releasing something out of it via a spell, any other kind of magical workings, rituals, manifestations, meditations, anything where you're concentrating, being like, I want this gone or I want this here. Because basically, you guys, that's what magic is. You want something gone or you want it here. That's it. You're either asking for something or asking for something to go away. So here's where I'm going to slow down and try to be careful in how I state this. And this is not an inclusive list. I picked a few things to focus on that I thought were important, but there's a long list of them that you could focus on. So.
Do you want to tell them
when-
how, do you want to tell them how we're going to list it first in case they do want to jot this down?
Sure. So first I'm going to tell you the sign that the moon will be in.
The zodiac sign that the moon will be in.
Right. So right now we know that the moon is entering Capricorn in 3 minutes. It's probably there because we just wrote that down, right? So the moon's entering Capricorn and it's going to go every 2.5 days through the zodiac sign. So in 2.5 days, it'll be in Aries. 2.5 days after that, it'll be in Pisces and so on. So it's pretty easy to figure out. I can see myself making a chart. That's my Virgo side. But anyway, you do you. Okay, so we're going to tell you the sign. We're going to tell you the basic energetic properties around that sign. What kind of magical workings you might want to do. And I just picked a few. Again, I use this book as my resource. I'm going to pick just a few of the things that she listed, not all of them, because it's like a whole freaking paragraph and it's too much. And then what things you need to be careful of, which I thought was like really interesting as you're working through this phase.
Mindful.
Mindful. So you want to just watch this particular part of yourself. So the first is Aries. We're going to start at the beginning of the zodiac. And the basic energy around Aries is power, assertiveness, and spontaneity. Again, there's more to Aries than that, but you can find these things online. The kinds of magical workings that you would want to do, be it spells, manifestations, rituals, whatever you do, are gaining confidence, learning new things, or starting a project. What you need to be careful about when the mindful of is during the Aries moon, when the moon is in Aries, your temper.
Yeah.
Watch
Because your Aries
that.
be fiery.
Well,
Fiery
Aries, the
emotions.
planetary, the element of Aries is fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aries are always fiery. Cracks me up.
So next we have Taurus, and our basic energy there is stability, peace, and affection. And the magical workings that you might do, spells, rituals, or any other thing, are prosperity, long-term goals, and long-term goal planning. And then to watch out for, to be aware of, is your stubbornness. You can imagine that with the bull.
So if you guys think of the properties that come with the zodiac signs, right? Like what are Taurus bulls known for? Being stubborn, being lazy.
It's the bull. Hello.
Being overeating. I love how they always list that for Taurus. It's like, come on, call me fat without calling me fat. So yeah, you can almost connect the zodiac signs with, how we all know them. Everybody knows a Taurus is stubborn. Everybody knows a Scorpio or an Aries is a little fiery, and so on and so forth.
Do you want to do the Gemini, the next two?
Yeah, I'll do Gemini. So with Gemini, the basic energy is intellect, agility, and adaptability. So if you think of a Gemini, that's usually how they are.
They're air signs.
Yes.
So it's all in the head.
Yep.
Everything's in the head.
And during this time, magical workings will be learning or research, finding a new job or a car. A new car?
New.
Okay.
Well, learning research. So you would probably research if you were going to look for a new car or a new job. You'd be doing some research. So it's a good time for that.
Okay. And what you want to be mindful of during that time is self-denial, because we all know Geminis really don't like to admit when they're wrong. I see some faces going. Love you guys. My dad was a Gemini and I love him so much. So
I loved him too, and he drove me crazy.
imagine that. All right. So then we have Cancer, which most of us know Cancers again are about emotions.
They're ruled by the moon.
Yeah, it's all about emotions, but also psychic powers. I think Cancers are very tuned into
Intuitive.
They're intuitive. Their dreams are usually very
Prophetic.
Yes, exactly. So psychic powers for sure during that time if you don't want to work on your emotions. It is a water element, and the magical workings for that is going to be dream spells, divination, and spells for women.
Because of the emotional element.
Yeah.
And what do you need to watch out for?
Being too emotional.
Imagine that. Okay. Next, we have Leo. So the basic energy of Leo is strength, leadership, and success. It's a fire sign. Magical workings that you might do when the moon is in Leo, that have to do with courage, strength, or positive thinking. So if those are things that you're trying to bring into your life, that would be a good time to do it when the moon is in Leo. What you want to watch out for when the moon is in Leo is bragging. Hello. Leo's
a gloat.
Leos are so full of
They walk
themselves.
Flipping their hair, going, look at me, look at me. Aren't I beautiful with my long, gorgeous mane? Leos have good vibes though, for sure. Love my Leos.
They're very strong. They're very powerful. They're like Aries, but Aries is anyway. I won't go into that. So okay, do Virgo.
Yes, Virgo. So the basic energy of a Virgo is going to be examination, right? They really love to look into things, study it, figure it out, what's going on here, analyzing it, finding solutions to things. They're problem solvers, and they like to organize. So in my personal belief system, in a Virgo moon, I'd be like, time to organize, spring clean. Let's put labels on all of our towels and shit.
Yeah. This is time to feng shui your house.
Yeah, exactly. It's an earth element, so you're still grounded. You want to be grounded during this time. But the magical workings of that are going to be solving problems, making difficult choices, uncover an elusive medical issue.
Yeah.
Like WebMD.
Well, I don't know,
MD.
because I don't know if you've ever gone to the doctor and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Well, all we can do is, we're having the same thing with Cameron. It's like, oh, well, we don't know what's wrong with you, but since you've had 2 seizures, we're going to call you an epileptic now. So they don't really know what's causing it. They're just saying, well, since you've had 2 undiagnosed seizures, and this is in the medical industry, right? So if anybody in your family ever has this, you're going to find out the hard way that doctors don't know. Honestly, I have a lot of distrust of the medical. Sorry if anybody's a medical profession, but I just think there's I think there's just a lot of guessing that goes on. So if you were having a problem, a health issue, this might be a good time to
work on
try to bring that forth. So and then be careful of or watch out for.
Correct, Kimberly, I agree. So during this time, you want to be mindful of being overcritical, because Virgos, if you think about it, they really analyze everything, which means they can get very critical of things and they can just go a little bit too far with it.
So Virgo is my ascending, and I can raise my hand and testify to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, her and my sister. So pray for me, guys. Do some spell magic work for me, please.
Okay, next up, when the moon is in Libra. So the basic energy here is beauty, love, and sociability. I love Libras. They are the funnest people ever. Every Libra I've known is fun.
Yeah.
So the magical workings that you might do when the moon is in Libra have to do with partnerships of any kind, love, friendship, or romance.
And beauty.
And what you need to watch out for is indecisiveness. Like, make up your mind already, Libra. Hello.
Yeah.
We just want to get along. All right, you're going to do Scorpio, which is me.
Ooh. Miss Scorpio.
When the moon is in Scorpio.
Yes. Our basic energy is going to be karma, transformation, and wisdom.
So the things you can think about doing, magical workings you might do in Scorpio are
bring down a criminal or stop gossip. Mom, where the hell did you get this shit?
I got it out of this book. I'm telling you, I picked out the things like
go shopping for a car. What are you reading here?
Well,
I love it. Thank you. What's her name?
Silver Ravenwolf.
Silver Ravenwolf. Thank you so much for these. It's hilarious.
Listen, these are not the only, first of all, it's not the only energies surrounding these signs, and it's not the only thing you can focus on as far as spells. Do your research. This is part of your job as a new witch, is to
sure is. Don't press us, damn it.
We pick and choose what we like to tell you.
This was my mom's doing, so if shit sounds weird.
So anyway,
it's her fault.
Bring down a criminal, stop gossip, or sign favorable documents like legal documents or contracts.
Yeah. It's funny because you would kind of think that would almost be Libra because they're the scales, you know?
Yeah,
Are you sure you didn't get something mixed up there?
it's possible.
Okay. We'll double check before we put
Listen,
it on the
always
website,
do
guys.
your due diligence. Don't believe everything you hear
You
on the
need 3
internet.
opinions and then you usually go with the middle one, okay? Something you want to be mindful of during that time is your resentment.
Don't look at, don't give me the up and down eyes. Do you see the up and down eyes over here? All right. Next, when the moon is in Sagittarius, the basic energy is expansion, charity, and hope. That's just 3 of the energies. There's actually a lot more, but it was going to be too long to list them all. So I picked some that I liked.
Yeah.
This is magical workings, things that you might work on when the moon is in Sag, borrow money, travel, or study world religions. And then what you need to be aware of and watch out for and kind of not make sure that you're not doing is running from commitment.
You Sages really like to do that. Love you to death, but would you just commit already?
All right, Capricorn, you go.
Capricorn, our basic energy there is going to be self-discipline and justice and law. Capricorns are all
They're all about the rules,
man.
Jesus.
Y'all don't want to break 0 rules.
Yeah, I can't get down with
And the
cows.
self-discipline, the Capricorns, they have a lot of self-discipline. They really do know how to kind of cut themselves off from things that aren't healthy from them or stop them from going on their business ventures. So
Translation, boring.
hey, we can't be offensive to the Capricorn.
I'm so sorry. I was married to one.
Yeah,
It
you know,
wasn't-
you have one bad experience with a sign and
Yeah.
you're like, never again. I
Yeah,
hate them all."
exactly. Yeah. So sorry for the calves. I was married to one. It's Capricorn and Scorpio, not a good fit. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, Tracy. I'm sorry.
Listen, she's
sweetheart.
still
You know I
working on
love you.
her resentment. See, Scorpio, she's working on her resentment. Yeah. Thank you for being an example tonight, Mom. But something you want to be mindful of with the Capricorn is your own ruthless ambition.
Did you tell us what kind of spells to work on?
Oh, I didn't.
don't
I'm
think
so
you did.
sorry. During this time, work on divine justice, right? So if you're really seeking truth in something, or you're really looking to get answers or justice on anything, do it during this time.
Remember, we're talking about when the moon is in Capricorn.
Moon is in Capricorn, correct. Work on promotions during this time and build your savings account. Again, Capricorn is all about business, growing, money,
Rules.
promoting, always getting ahead. Capricorns are always very business oriented. So yeah, that's a great time to work on it. And then again, your own ruthless ambition. Sometimes Capricorn will kick you in the knee to get ahead. So yeah.
All right.
So don't be
Next
ruthless
sign is
getting
gonna
ahead.
be, we're coming up on Pisces, Gary.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next sign is Aquarius, and the basic energy around Aquarius is independence and progressive ideas. So remember that Aquarius is an air sign, so it's everything that's in your head. It's all your thoughts. So some of the spells are magic workings that you might do when the moon is in Aries are spells to learn math, science, or astrology, or finding universal love. So I specifically picked learning math, science, and astrology because I'm trying to learn. I'm not very good at math. I'm determined to overcome that. And I am trying to learn astrology, so I'm studying that. So that's why I picked it. But there's a lot of different things that you could practice around that when the moon is in Aries, but that's just a few of them.
Aries.
I'm sorry, Aquarius. So the thing to watch out for, be aware of as the moon is in Aries is feeling too detached. So just kind of out of it. And then I'll let Jolene do Pisces, which is going to be the last sign.
Yeah, also I want to go back to Aquarius because the feeling detached thing is a known thing for Aquarius. They really have a hard time connecting emotionally to things.
Is that why I don't connect with Aquarius people? Because I've had Aquarius friends, but I just feel like there's distance there.
And it feels like that, but they just do not express how they're feeling.
I think it's because they're all in their head. So they're air signs. So they're like up here, and I'm super
Water.
emotional.
Yeah.
So Pisces.
Yes, Pisces. Gary, we're here. Pisces.
Yes, Gary, you're Pisces. I love that. So tell us your birthday. Put it in the chat because I'm super curious. I've had a lot as a water sign. I'm totally drawn to Pisces, and
Yeah.
Jolene, as an earth sign, has had Pisces in her life. Not the same experience, but at any rate. So with Pisces, you want to do this one, sis?
Sure. It's all about the psychic abilities. The energy surrounding a Pisces is psychic abilities. If you meet a Pisces, you'll almost know instantly because they have that very like dreamy, psychic way about them. I guess that's just the best. They
they're
just know
they
things.
look at clouds, and it's like it's enchanting. It
they're
really
very dreamy.
it is. It's very. I dig it for the ones that I've met. I really love. I spent like 20 years in love with the Pisces, which didn't turn out that well, but still.
They're all about universal peace too. Like Pisces really do like to keep the peace. They don't like confrontation. They don't like fighting or anything like that. So depending, I feel like there's two Pisces, like kind of like Gemini. I do think that, but that's a whole nother story. The water is element, so emotions again. What we really want to work on during that time is astral projection, telepathy and divination.
So it's really like the third eye crown. So the Pisces, what I always read about Pisces is as the last sign of the zodiac, they are the most highly evolved. So, when you think about you're coming from that base chakra, your root chakra, where it's all about, with the red and stuff. So Aries is red, but your base chakra is about the basic needs that you have, food, shelter, security. And by the time you get to Pisces, you're here, and it's this elevation. And so that's what I've always read about Pisces, that they're the most elevated sign because they're the last sign. So they've had a chance to go through all of the other things that are in the zodiac. But the thing to be aware of and be cautious of during this time is
illogical reasoning.
Illogical
reasoning. Why don't you elaborate on that, Mommy?
Well, my experience with Pisces is they're dreamers, their heads in the clouds. I mean, everything is a possibility, and they sort of stay up there in that cloud, and that's where they live, and they don't come down to earth and deal with the realities of earth, which is like the rent and the bills that got to be paid and shit like that. So
they will stay in their little dream fairy tale land as long as they possibly can.
They don't like the harsh realities of the world. That's my personal experience with them. Gary, you can share with us in our Q&A if you feel like that's a misrepresentation. I do think that depending on where you are born,
take Tank out really quick. He's pacing.
Okay. I do believe that, and what I have seen in my own experiences, where you're born, there's like weeks ahead. So like if you're born in the middle of a sign, I feel like you incorporate more of the sign's basic elements. But if you're born toward the beginning or the end of a sign, you might pick up more of the characteristics and personality traits and things like that of the sign preceding or following the sign that you were born in. So it's never cut and dry with a sign. Like you can't say all Pisces are this way and all Scorpios are this way, because there's a whole lot of things that are going into our personalities. And thank God for that. Thank the goddesses for that, because otherwise we'd be really boring if we were all the same. All right. So I'm going to go on really quickly. Let's see, what time is it? 7:55. So very quickly, I'm going to share some fun facts with you, and then I'm going to give you your exercise for the week, which is going to be fun. You're going to love it. So here's some fun facts. The moon and the sun are called luminaries. They're not planets, although I think sometimes they are referred to as planets. The sun is a star. The moon is a satellite of the earth. It was in the 17th century that astronomers realized the sun was a celestial object around which all the planets orbit. What would happen if we lost our moon? Does anybody know? If we lost our moon, the pull of the moon's gravity actually holds the earth in place. So if we were to lose our moon, this is our stabilizing force on earth. And without the moon, our tilt could vary widely. So we could have no tilt of earth, because the earth does this on its axis. There would be no tilt which means there would be no seasons. Or there could be a really large tilt, which could be extreme weather or even ice age. So think about that. That would be great if we lost the moon, because that is our satellite. That is, so the moon is so important in our lives, in Earth, on Earth. Okay. All right.
I think there's a movie about that actually, where something happens to the moon. Don't watch it. Nobody needs that negativity.
Okay, so here's going to be your exercise. And again, this is a little bit complicated, but I think you guys are up to the task, because I know we have like really smart people on here. And I feel like we have people on here who want to solve a puzzle, because like, what the heck, like we want to use our brains to learn this witchcraft thing and to incorporate this witchcraft thing that can help us, improve our lives and bring things into our lives and get things out of our lives. So here is your exercise. All right. Okay. And you could choose to do this or not, because I'm not going to come to your house and test you on your homework or ask you to send your homework in.
We've been needing to get out of town lately, so we might just pop up and be like, did you?
But here is your exercise. On May 19th, as I already mentioned, there is going to be a new moon in the sign of Taurus. Remember that new moons are a time for new beginnings, new endeavors, and new relationships. So the new moons are all about new, right? Okay. So this is what I want you to do.
It's going to be around 6 p.m., by the way, if anybody's looking for the time of when.
Actually, at 6 p.m.
Oh, that's when it moves into Gemini.
At 6 p.m. on the 19th, the moon moves into Gemini.
So if you wanted to, you could really do 2 spells or rituals.
Well, and depending on what you want to bring into your life or get rid of in your life will depend on what time of day that you do. Remember to check. So look up, let's see, I had a resource here for this. There is a website called mooncalendar.astro-seek.com. So you could probably go to Astro.
So once again, that's mooncalendar.astro/seek /seek SEEK.com.
But what you're going to look for is a moon calendar, so that you can look at the day of May 19th. This gives you a little time to plan. The reason why I picked May 19th is because it's the 7th or the 8th. So you have time to think through this and do a little bit of research. And part of your journey as a witch is your due diligence, honestly, and spending time. We can give you a lot of information, but you're going to have to go out and do research on your own, because only you are going to know
what you need to work on.
Well, what you want to bring into your life, or what you want to get rid of in your life. Because remember that we're always trying to create balance or homeostasis. So we're always trying to get back to the place of balance. We're either trying to eliminate something or bring something in that creates balance in our life. In harmony. That's all we're all trying to do here in this or in this earthly being, which is our playground or our learning.
This crazy
our classroom
called life.
It's our classroom. Okay, let me go back. So on May 19th, new moon in Taurus, it changes to Gemini that night, which means at 6 o'clock that night, thereabouts, depending on where you are in the country of the world, the moon will move into Gemini, and it'll be there for 2.5 days. So let's go back and remember what Gemini, the basic energies of Gemini are. Jolene, you want to read those to us?
Yeah. So Gemini, the basic energy is intellect, agility, and adaptability.
And some of the spell work or manifestations that we might do around the Gemini moon are
learning or research, finding a new car or job.
Finding a new job. Okay, so if this isn't you, look at the next moon phase that's coming up. So
what's funny is that I literally I'm over here laughing, but you know what's funny is I literally just told my mom today I'm ready to get a new car. I like the finer things in life, but I'm a little bit frugal and I really don't give a shit about cars. I don't care. Get me to A to B. I'm not all like, oh my God, I have a Mercedes. No, I don't care. But today I tried to change the battery connectors on my car because they're like corroded, and I'm a bad bitch and I will do everything on my own if I can. So I tried to change it on my own and I couldn't get it. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? I think it's time for a new car. Like it's a 2010 Toyota
We're feeling the
Camry.
new car vibe over here.
It's been a great car, but I just think I'm right. And so, and 6
Okay.
p.m. on the 19th, I'm going to
Okay,
look for a car.
so, okay, so let's back up, because I know this is a little bit complicated, you guys, and I don't want to overburden your brain, but I do feel that you guys are ready for this. You've been here with us, most of you have been here with us for 10 weeks. And this witchcraft shit is like serious things to change your life. Okay, if you want to change your life and you want to make it better and you want to get rid of the crap that no longer serves you, you can do that using some basic principles of manifestation, laws of attraction, positive thinking, not positive thinking, but what you think about, you bring about types of things.
Mhm.
You can have the life that you want. All right, so let me back up because I feel like we got all over the place with this. All right.
Sorry, I had to tell you guys about my new car.
That's okay. The new car, because it brought up the new car.
I've been laughing
It
this whole
aligns.
time
Well,
at my
you know
mom's
what?
subscription,
And
a new car. I'm like, ooh.
So look, so May 19th, Gary says May 19th,
Yeah.
he's traveling. Oh, he's starting a new journey to Salt Lake City to visit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. I love traveling.
All right. So anyway, if it's not May 19th, but I'm picking May 19th because it is May, there is a new moon. We have energies around the new moon that are related to that. If you get your spell work done, say the night before, while the moon is in Taurus, what you would be looking at for that moon. So let's say you do it on the 18th. Because remember that those new moons, any of the moon phases are like 2.5 days. So you don't have to do your spell work, your magical workings, whatever, on the exact day. You've got like a little window to work with.
You do. Yeah.
So if you get your shit together and you want to focus on prosperity or long-term goals, goal planning, if that's where your head is at, then you're going to want to get your stuff done like maybe the night before or earlier in the day.
May 18th.
Yeah, May 18th. Because around 6 p.m. on the 19th, the moon is going to change into Gemini, which Gemini is going to be all about like learning and research or finding a new car, finding a new job, something new, and things that are mental. So that is your exercise to match up the moon energy to match up.
It's confusing.
It is confusing. I need to draw a chart, right?
It's a lot.
It's
Even
a
for
lot. Stuff that's not a lot for them. I know they're like,
well, they might be feeling overwhelmed.
they're not. They're all writing stuff down. I can tell, but
they looked confused.
Okay, you guys can ask questions at the end. We'll talk about it. But anyway, look at the new moon. Look what sign. We already know the moon's in Taurus. We know what Taurus is about. It's earthly things. It's all about earth. It's a lot of things. Stability, peace, affection, prosperity, long-term goals, and planning. So you have this little cycle. So anyway, I want you to sort of like plan out something, to try to do a little spell for yourself, even if you've never done a spell before. How many people here have never done a spell before or never done a ritual before? You can tell us in the chat if you want to. But if some of you are very new, you may not have ever done anything, and it might feel very intimidating to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing this right. So use the magic, use the energies of the moon and the energies of the planets to build yourself a little. This is what, and it's really, magic is all about just thinking about what do you want. If you ever were a religious person and went to church and prayed for something like really hard, like you went to church like, oh, please God, I don't want to get in trouble for this. I didn't mean to skip school. I didn't mean to steal that, whatever. I don't want to be on restriction. This was me when I was young, right? If you think about that, right? How you prayed for something, if you were ever a religious person, magic is very much the same thing, where you spend your time, you're not praying to God, or you could say goddesses or whatever, but you're thinking about like, what do you really want, and so that's what magic is.
I still say pray, I think, just because I grew up in the country and that's just what it is.
I think it's easy to say
It's
that.
fine. It's whatever you want to say, but,
All right,
so
so that
the
can,
assignment, once again, is we want you guys to work up a spell for
a magical working, it doesn't have to be a
whichever
spell.
one you'd
It
like.
can be a manifestation, it can be a meditation, you can write a mantra, you can make it super easy. You can make it very, very easy.
We want you to do work, and whichever way you decide to do that work,
Yeah,
manifestation,
exactly.
spell, it doesn't matter.
So
But we want you
Gary,
to work with the moon. We want you to work with the moon phase and the zodiac sign that it's in.
yes.
And you can choose either Taurus or Gemini or do both. If
And
you
just,
like.
and research what the energies are around Taurus or Gemini and see if something that you're trying to either bring into your life or expel from your life resonates with you with what those signs
The properties.
represent, the
Yeah, the energies.
energetic properties of those. And then see if you can come up with a little ritual that you can do that you can try to bring those into your life.